The great people over at Jasion Electric Bikes sent us this EB7 review. There's a lot of things to like about this, including a 500-watt motor and dual suspension. There's rear suspension on this thing, which is really a feature seen in a lot more expensive electric bicycles. So really easy to install. It's 95% installed. But actually, the instruction manual shows some stuff that's already installed, so that's great too. So you pretty much just pull this thing out of the box. You're going to need maybe 2 people if you don't have a lot of strength. But I was able to do this myself, not a problem. Comes very, very well and securely packaged. You're going to want to open it's like Christmas. You're going to want to open your box of goodies here. You're going to find your instruction manual, which has the installation instructions. Very, very nice, very well detailed with pictures. And we always appreciate that, right? Especially when assembling complicated products like this. Also inside the box, you're going to find your charger. And this is important. You want to hang on to this because you can't ride your bike with electric assist unless you have the battery charge. And that's what this guy's going to do for you. Standard grounded plug, nice. And this is going to take care of your battery charge. The charge is going to take 4 to 6 hours. So make sure you keep that thing handy. Comes with all the tools you need as well. And that's a rear light and also a front light, which plugs right into the electrical system, and a couple of brakes, which are also foldable, and a couple of nut protectors for your wheel once you get that installed. All right, so you're going to find 2 keys that are going to be on the quick release for the seat. So pull those aside and don't lose those because those are tied to your battery. If you lose those, you can't ever use your bike again. So make sure you've got that handy somewhere and keep them safe. All right, so we're going to go to the assembly, and it's going to tell us the first thing we're going to do is install the handlebar pole, but it's already installed for us, so this is great. It's a quick release, and it's foldable. So this is really nice when you're going to put this in the back of a car or a trunk or an SUV. Very, very nice. So the first thing you're going to do is put your handlebars on. You make sure they're the right way, and you can tell because the printing will be facing you. I've seen people put these things on backwards, but a pretty easy fix. You just take them off and turn them around. So you'll see the printing on the Shimano gears, and also on the display will be facing you. And also the handlebars are obviously going to be towards the back because that would just be weird. So you're going to tighten this up real good. Make sure this guy's real tight. It's already going to be straight. And the only thing you may need to adjust is the position of the brakes so that they're comfortable for you. So you can just loosen that up and twist that when you're ready, when you finally have the seat on. So it's got this little protector here, and this protects the fork from bending and chipping. So it's a little plastic piece. I had to pound it off. It was in there pretty good. Fortunately, it is in there pretty good because you don't want that fork to bend because that needs to be perfectly straight, and it was. Take the wheel protector off. That covers your disc brake. It has dual disc brakes, another feature found on more expensive bikes. And you're going to want to open these nuts up pretty wide because you're going to let gravity do its job, and it's going to seat that front fork perfectly on the axle of the front wheel. Now, the only tricky part here is getting that disc brake right between the caliper. So you have to line that up right in the caliper. That's probably the most important thing. You don't want to bend that. So you're going to slide that right between the caliper, and you just kind of eyeball it. You can't do this by yourself, a lot easier with 2 people. Some people turn the bike upside down. You're going to slide it right in there and let gravity let the front fork drop right on the axle. And there's your caliper there. Perfect assembly. Everything's perfectly straight. Everything's adjusted for you, including the brakes as well. So you really take this thing out of the box, pop a couple things on, and you're good to go. So you're going to want to tighten that front wheel up. Make sure that's pretty tight because you don't want your front wheel to fly off on you. That would be bad. So you want to tighten that up just so you can't tighten it anymore. I mean, don't go crazy. You don't want to strip the threads or the bolt itself, but make sure that's on there nice and tight for you. All right, so we're going to install the front headlight, and this is actually tied into the controller. So it has a little cable connection. We'll show you how to put that on. So there's one bolt that's already in the light. You take it out with a little nut on the end, and there's a little hole in the front fork. You just pop that guy through, and you may need to hold the back of this nut with the wrench, and the wrench is included as you tighten that guy up. Make sure that's pretty secure as well, and then you can position it exactly where you want to have it if you ride at night. And here is the other end of that. Just pull up that sleeve a little bit and just plug that in. There's a little, it only goes in one way, so you can follow the guide. And we're going to pop the seat on. It's got a quick release seat adjustment, and that's great. You don't want to put it too high. There is a little marking on the pole itself, on the post. So you don't want to go too high, otherwise that could lead to problems where your seat could bend. But it'll fit anybody from about 5'3". Felicia's 5'3", and she rode this thing perfectly till about 6'3". And you could probably push it a little more than that. We're going to throw our pedals on. And these are foldable too, so that saves a couple of inches when you're putting this in the back of your car if you're going to put two side by side like we do, or in your RV or wherever you're bringing these guys. Now it's going to take a little bit of to get this thread in here. They're already greased. It's nice, but it might take you a couple of tries to get these in here. And then make sure those are nice and tight too. You can tighten those till you can't tighten them anymore. All right, so let's get the bike charged up. Remember, it's going to take 4 to 6 hours for a full charge. It does come charged from the factory at about half to 75%. So you want to charge that baby up probably every time you ride it. So we're going to charge this guy. You can charge it in the frame, and the charger will turn red when it is accepting a charge successfully. So look for that red light, and you know that's taking in all the power, all the juice it's going to need. Now here's the keys we talked about earlier. They actually go underneath the frame and they are tied to this battery. They won't fit any other bike, any other battery. These are the only two keys that will ever exist. And the key is underneath the frame. Take a little getting used to. There's a couple of positions here. One locks it in. There's the unlock and also the on position. And you'll know which way. It's not too complicated. So let's fold this thing. People always ask, well, how do you fold this? It's a little awkward because I'm trying to do it so the camera can see it. But pretty easy to do. And now you're going to see where the battery lives too. So if you want to take the battery out, you can actually charge the battery outside of the frame. So I'm going to unfold this whole thing. This is exactly what it's going to look like when it's completely folded up. Pedals are folded down. Look at this small little package. Now it does weigh about 60 pounds with the battery. It might take a little bit of girth to get it up high enough to get it in the back of an SUV. So you might need two people sometimes. I have no problem doing it by myself. You see this little peg here? And this is where the key comes in because you cannot take this battery out without the key. You put the key in, twist it to the unlock position. You have to push it. All this information's in the manual. Find that position, turn it in and push it in and twist right there to the left. And that's going to unlock it. And you probably shouldn't let it drop out like this, but it's a soft carpet, so we're okay. Just be careful. Make sure you have your hand on the end to grab it. And this is what she looks like. And to put it back in, you need to make sure that that little pin is in the right place. And it slides right back in. There's a little rail inside there, so you can't put it in wrong. Just pop it in there, and the same thing. And you need that key again. You're going to need to hold it in there and twist the key so it locks back in. There it is. She's secure. Now, when the light turns green, a few hours later, unplug your bad boy, and you're just about ready to go. We're going to make sure our tires are inflated to about 35 PSI. They lose a little bit of air during the shipping process. Make sure they're up to about 35 PSI. All right, so now we're going to take the key and we're going to turn it in the on position. This is underneath the frame itself. A little tricky, takes a little getting used to, but as soon as you do this a few times, you're going to know exactly where to do it, and you can do it without looking. I'm actually doing it without looking now. Hold the power button on, and if the key's in the right position, it's going to initialize the display. So you're going to get a little display code down here. It's doing a self-check, and you can cycle through the pedal assist. It goes from 0 to 5. 1 through 5 is going to give you a little bit of pedal assist power. 0 is off, pedal assist off. So the throttle, nothing's going to work. You can cycle through all the really cool things. You can see your max speed, your odometer, your trip meter, your average speed, and you can reset all this stuff in the controller. All that information is in the manual. And on the side here, I have adjusted these later. This is the front light position. There's a little Allen key on the back. You can twist it and move these things around. Turns your front headlight on. That's pretty cool for riding at night or in the dark or just being seen. And also there's a horn. And it's actually pretty loud. It's one of the loud. It's a little bit better than that bell that a lot of lower priced bikes put on there. Here's your Shimano 7-speed shifter. Works wonderfully. It's adjusted perfectly at the factory. This is your half twist throttle. Now you never want to hit this when you're in pedal assist 1 through 5 because the bike will start to take off. And I've seen a lot of people crash these things into walls, just accidentally hitting that throttle. So don't hit that throttle while you're moving the bike. Make sure you're in pedal assist 0 or just turn the bike off when you're moving it around and you don't want to use that throttle. This is a neat feature. Underneath the controller itself, it has a USB charging port, and that's pretty cool. A lot of people have phone holders on their bikes. So now you can charge your phone using the battery. Remember that will use some of the battery life, so keep that in mind. And you have to turn the USB, just hold that little I button down and it turns the USB on or off. It also cycles through all the functions. Just long press, turns the USB charging on and off. And turn it off, just hold the power button in for a second or two. All right, so people ask us, well, how do we unfold this? I've got this out of my car now, and I want to take it for a ride. Simple. It's so simple. You just pull the handlebars up, lock it in, just press it once. And again, I'm doing it kind of backwards here to show you on camera. It's a lot easier than this if you're in the right position. And you'll figure out what the right position is. You can actually roll it aside once you get the hang of this. And you're going to close that thing up, but keep your fingers out of here because it's like a giant nutcracker. That will hurt if you get your fingers or skin caught in there. It's two pieces of metal coming together. And there you're ready to go. Unfold your pedals. And you are ready to ride your Jasion EB7. Taken out on an adventure. Felicia, again, she's 5'3", no problem stepping over. Nice low bar. And she absolutely adores this. We took it to the restaurant that night. And it's a great fit for her, and she said 500 watts, more than enough power, gets you up to about 20 miles per hour. It's a great bike. I think you're going to enjoy it. Real simple to install and assemble, and yeah, it's awesome.